Hey, you there. Thank you for watching, and welcome to Forged Lines Forever. Today, I have a 3v3 ladder match here on the most amazing Roxas map generator. So let's go ahead and introduce our teams and our players, starting off with Team 1 in the west, starting with Team 2 in the east, also known as Blue Team versus Red Team. Starting off with Team 1's northern player, then working our way southward, we have in Amethyst Purple, Team 1's Dilly Dally. He is a Cybran for this match as a 1739 rated player. To his south, we have in Royal Blue, Extractor, going to call him Craft for short. He is a UEF, and he is a 1659 rated player. Hopefully I didn't just butcher his name. Hopefully. And to his south, we have Maitz. He is in Stitch Blue for this match as a Cybran, and he is a 2396 rated player, the highest rated player on Team 1 and in the game overall. And for Team 2 side of the map, we have in orange, the color orange, Excited. He is an Aeon for this match as a 1782 rating. To his north, we have in Chevy Crimson Craig Marine. He is a Cybran for this match as a 1730 rated player. And last but not least here for Team 2, another Aeon here for his team. It is Control K. He might Control K. He might cause his teammates to Control K. He might cause his opponents to Control K. Who knows? Control Ks may or may not happen during this match. And he is a 2089 rated player. So over Team 1 side of the map, there are 2 Cybrans and a UEF, which means they lack Aeon and Seraphim Tech. Team 2, there are 2 Aeons and 1 Cybran, which means that they lack UEF and Seraphim Tech, which means the entirety of this match, there are no Seraphim players. Apologies to those who love to make grand entrances, but always arrive late. Hopefully you will enjoy the game nonetheless. And I will have a little PSA for the next week or so of videos. Unfortunately, I am not in my normal setup, so if anything sounds weird or different, or whatever the case may be, please let me know down in the comments so I can adjust things. It's not the best performing PC that I'm running this on, so if there's any not as good quality in terms of fidelity of things, I do apologize. I'm traveling for work, so hopefully you will forgive me and give me a little bit of grace in that regard. But let's go ahead and see how much reclaim is on the map currently still before our players scoop the rest of it up. It is currently at 14,000 mass in reclaim, which means it is a little bit over 2k mass for each player to scoop up. And there's a large 3,400 up here and another one, of course, down there. And another grouping of 800, 900 or so kind of on the southern edges and the northern edges as well. And there is, of course, to be noted, 8,000 mass up here to the northeast and the southwest. In terms of additional mech locations for our players to grab, there is 1, 2, 3, 5-star mexes in the eastern side of the map for Team 2's Excited to grab. There's also a Trimex position on the beach. Nice little scene there, kind of getting a nice little, look at the nice little pond in the middle of the map, of course, with this nice little almost zigzaggy not laser, but lightning bolt kind of design, almost a snail maybe with a little antenna or whatever. Anyway, gonna be lots of navy in this map for our players to fight over, of course. And of course there will be land. It is going to be a little bit curtailed unless we have some hover / non-hover tech units going across the map, which again will happen, especially with the Aeons in the T1 and of course T2 stage, and then of course everybody else in this game at the T2 stage, if not of course the Wagners being underneath the surface of the water. We do see some movement out here from Team 1's Maitz and his teammate of Geitzenkraft down here, so 2v0 so far here from Team 2's Excited. In the northeast it's the opposite, but at least Team 1 does have 1 player over here, so it's a 2v1 in favor of Team 2 in that regard, but they're not solely outnumbered. Speaking of Team 1, we do see the first couple of units running around here, being very naughty and trying to break through the front lines here from Control K, trying to cause his opposing units and forces to, well, Control K. And we do see that Maitz is going to make his way most likely to this. Oh, no, he's going to go south. He's not going to go for that Tram Expedition, which he could try to deny. I feel like that is a losing battle as time goes on, but he could try to deny it at a minimum. But we do see that Geitzenkraft is heading northeast, going essentially right on the doorstep of Craig Marine. And we do see possible come action over here between Control K and Team 1's Dilly Dally. We'll see if that actually happens or not. Of course, we're still waiting for the comms to emerge from the water. We do see that two of the three comms on each team are in the water, with still Team 2's orange player of Excited in his main base. He's ecoing up very nicely, getting a lot of T1 land factories spammed up as well. Possibly going for T2. No, not yet. Maybe it's a little early for T2. He might start that here in a couple of minutes. And now, of course, with Maitz on the other side of the water, he's going to probably have to send his comment, because there's really no way, unless he really spams out anything and everything he can to really force this back, especially with Extractor moving, looks like to assist or possibly go for that Trimax position over there. We do see in the north the first come action has occurred, and it is between Control K and Team 1's Dilly Dally. Of course, he's not dilly-dallying anywhere. He's going to just sit there and reclaim and throw some shots at his opponent. Of course, he is a little bit down in the HP count, or the hit point counts. Of course, there is a 1,000 difference between the Cybran and the Aeon base commanders, of course, with their varying advantages and disadvantages of the like. We do see in the south, Team 1's Might still holding his own so far. Not really many units inbound as of yet here from Excited. He's actually moved, and he's going for an upgrade currently. I don't know what that upgrade is, because for some reason it's not giving me the thing on the screen, but he is going for T2. So that is what he's going for right now. We do see Extractor again. Hasn't really grabbed the mexes as of yet, but again, still trying to deny any expansionary engineers from Team 2. Still, the battle rages in the north between Control K and Dilly Dally. Control K not looking super well, but doing decent at trying to get back to the pond at least. We do see a nice little ghetto gunship online here. It's not fully laden with units. It looks like it's mostly full, but it does look like Control K might make it into the water. He is dropping pretty close into the red, about a little under halfway through his hit points, but he should be able to make it easily enough. Interceptors are now inbound here from him to deal with that transport, as of course the transport deals with the rest of his units inbound from him. So again, just kind of a nice little back and forth in the north. The naval expansion has of course occurred here for Team 2 and for Team 1, mainly from Team 2's Craig Marine, which will put him at a disadvantage in the players in the water, but of course he has a lot of facilities online, and he is a Cybran, so he can go for the torpedo upgrade on board. It is dangerous to do, as we've seen in other videos where players have done that. They've done decently well, and then eventually it just becomes too untenable, and then stuff happens, and then not good things happen, and the like. We do see in the south, lots of units now have been built up here by Excited, and have now forced both of these commanders in the water. They're going to sit here and hold position for now, and probably not leave for a while. Maybe we'll see some AA build, but again, there's a lot of hover techs that really won't be worth it. In the south, nice little T2 land facility online here for Maitz, and of course he's going for the rhinos, and he's sending hoplites in first, and looks like he's going to send rhinos in later to start dealing with all of these Aurora. Unfortunately, of course, the hoplites have better range, but they have sucky HP, so unfortunately, once those Aurora do come into range, they can blitz them down very quickly, if given the opportunity, of course. And in the middle of the map, still nothing occurring between the two naval fleets as of right now, but I would not expect that to stay the same. We do see a nice little punch through here on the northeastern side here from Dilly Dally, moving in to the Control K position up here to the north. He is getting some T2 blazes online to assist with defenses, as well as, of course, trying to curtail the damage that's inbound. We do see that those mantises are not breaking it all the way through due to this new reinforcements that are inbound. That will help deal with the rest of those, and of course that will pretty much not necessarily stop the advance, but with no units that can hover over and really not a lot of transports nearby, those units are probably just going to sit there on patrol or just sit there in general. But we do see a lot of interceptors here in this base from Excited, not really doing a whole lot, but trying to airlock the interceptors here from his opponent. T2 air is online for Extractor. Looks like Team 2 is Excited is also going for T2 air. Is there anybody else going for T2? No, just that one player. So far 1v1 in the air fight department. Maybe we'll see 2v1 in a 3v3 game. Very unlikely, but there have been instances, obviously, of it just occurring between the T2 Engineering Suite on board versus Gaiating Crafts Bare Knuckle Commander. T1 PD trying to be built to try to shove him away, and it will shove him away once again, and it will assist with dealing with the rest of these mixes, killing them off very quickly, and then he's going to scoop up the reclaim after they're gone. Stealth is now done 3 times, I guess, here for Craig Marine, because why not have triple stealth? That'd be very interesting. And he does have the torpedo upgrade on board, which means he can, of course, fire those deadly torpedoes from his main chassis. We have some frigates over the top of the commander of Maites. A couple of T1 subs. Nothing really too threatening for that commander. He might back up a little bit. Maybe he's trying to reclaim them. Possibly, maybe. But you can see his comm trying to target him, but his gun just does not work underwater. You would think that with 1,000 years of fighting, they would have figured out how to fire a quantum whatever underneath the water. You would presume. You would be wrong, but you would presume. We do see in the eco department, Team 1 and Team 2 relatively the same. Again, it kind of hops back and forth, but Team 2 slightly in the lead. Barely, but they are slightly in the lead at the 10, almost 11-minute mark on the clock. We do see in the north still Team 2 excited, pushing in, getting rid of the rest of these forces up here on this upper plateau and continuing to move northward. We do see a couple of those T2 units now moving in here for Dilly Dally, continuing to just annoy him the best he can. His forces still holding position. Nothing really happening in the northwest or, of course, the southeast. Just a couple of mexes hanging out, having a fun time. Just chugging away, scooping up that mass for their respective commanders. Couple of mexes taken offline by a Wagner or two. I don't think if they're... No, there was just the one there. So yeah, that was the Wagner. Definitely paid for itself, especially with the time that all of those mexes are offline. That's 2 mass times 3 times however many seconds. It does make a difference after a while, of course. The headquarters is done here for Craig Marine. It is over here. T2 Navy is online for both of the naval players or pseudo-naval players in the water for Team 1. And we see a decent naval fighter crew. Lots of subs for Team 1. Not a lot of subs for Team 2. Of course, the torpedo on Craig's commander does help with that. Most of those frigates have now been dealt with, it looks like. And, of course, the subs will be targeted next. But, of course, the subs from Team 1 are targeting the subs from Team 2. So that number will favor Team 1. But, of course, the comm is there to assist as well. And I don't remember... I don't have that highlight, whatever. It shows you all the different, torps, torp defense, all that. That's definitely something I'll have to remember to finagle. Because, of course... Having one setting on one computer for one version of one instance of FAF does not mean it transfers all the mods, all the settings to the other one. And of course, sometimes I forget things, and that's one of the things that I forgot, which isn't super important, but it's just nice to hover over and be like, oh yeah, there's torp defense on that, and there's not torp defense on that, that sort of thing. Units to the north there from Team 2's Alt Control K moving in to go after this Loyalist, who has, of course, the EMP weapons, able to, again, disrupt the weapon systems and all the like here from Control K's forces, but it does look like he's being dealt with quite nicely. Another Loyalist is inbound constantly, but of course applying that pressure, now counter pressure here, giving Dilly Dally a little bit of room to work with. Again, it looks like Team 2 is occupying pretty much a little bit over the middle of the map here, going vertically. Team 1 is losing a little bit of territory, but in terms of the mass department, Team 1's still behind a little bit, and that's partially due just because they are losing some mexes on the front lines. But of course, game can flip one way or the other as time progresses. We do see, of course, a couple of Valiant-class destroyers online helping to push back the Navy from Craig Marine. Craig Marine, again, still in the water, still holding strong. Will he stay there long-term? Maybe, maybe not. We do see a couple being one, Salem on the shoreline here, going after all these little tinfoil Auroras. We're going to get shot at by a couple of these Medusa, or at least try to be shot at by the Medusa and the Rhinos. And again, players mimicking one another, of course, because the map is mirrored. So major contention points are happening, but it does look like a large, just orange ball is down there. Not orange the color orange, not orange the fruit orange, but orange the shape orange, which just it's just a circle. Or sphere, depending if you're three-dimensional or not, but in a quote-unquote two-dimensional space like this is, quote-unquote, at least its view, it is a ball, at least as I will call it. T3 Air is not online yet here for Team 1. Team 2 not going for it as well. We are approaching the 15-minute mark, so players should be thinking about going for T3. It is a 3v3 ladder match. So the upgrades to T3 aren't that important very quickly as it is in, 5v5, 6v6s, 8v8s, that sort of thing. But T3 land is online here for Control K. I don't know if we'll see T3 Navy one way or the other. Maybe we'll see it out of the UEF side here for Team 1's Extractor. Maybe he'll go for that. He should be going for, of course, the cruisers and the destroyers, as every UEF should. And now we see Blazers intercepting the commander of my Eats. Nobody has died as of yet. It is a 3v3, so the likelihood is low, but it's still there. And it does look like some Torp bombers are inbound to go after Craig Marine's commander. He is dropping a little bit of hit points and just hanging there, kind of not really worrying about a whole much. And now he's probably like, nah, I should probably move. Interceptors moving in to deal with those. Actually, those aren't interceptors. Those are Swift Winds, excuse me. Inbound from Excited to help assist with that. And we do see in the north those destroyers moving into the main facilities. T2 is under threat. If he loses this, he might be knocked out of Navy, giving Team 1 a huge advantage because they can hit this base here for Control K. They can definitely hit most of the space here for Craig Marine. The cruisers might be able to hit this base, but this base for sure will be taken offline very quickly if this is not remedied here for Team 2. It could be very, very deadly for the rest of their game if they don't fix it. But again, in the southwest, we have a very similar situation where I guess I will split things up so we can see what's going on in both theaters of, not theaters of war, but locations on the map. Southwest, T2 naval facility offline here for Maitz. T2 naval facility offline here for Guides and Craft. And now the T2 naval facility offline for, it's not Excited, sorry, Craig Marine. So everybody loses T2 Navy. No one has fun in the sun, in the boats. No one has fun today. We do see, of course, some Salems trying to escape the wrath of the gunships and the Aurora. But it doesn't look like the Aurora are going to give chase. And the gunships are being whittled down quite quickly. There are a couple destroyers left. Team 1 will have the advantage in the ship department in terms of the tech. But Team 2 has a lot of hover tech or pseudo-hover tech units online. I think that's going to kind of even the odds a little bit here between these two teams. Let me go back to regular view and put the thing back. I really should have a way to like auto put it back kind of thing, so that way I don't have to remember exactly where I have to put it. But I forget a lot, so it is one of those things. We do see Maitz getting some skimmers over the top of him. I don't know if those torpedoes went in for him or not. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. Maybe they didn't target him. I don't think they see him. Oh, they do see him. He doesn't have stealth online, so it's not that he doesn't have stealth online, so it's not going to be a huge issue. But of course, he will be spotted with only stealth anyways, because it's the whole vision-based thing. Transport laden with some units inbound and gets denied. We do see units land up here to the north, though. There are a lot of Medusa, very easily dealt with. So nothing a huge issue, but of course, mexes are taken offline, which of course is the worry. That mass income is very, very vital. And this thing is not staying put on the reclaim for some reason. I thought I set that, but for some reason it's not wanting to stay. I know I was able to fix it on my other machine, but for some reason this one just doesn't want to do it. It's probably just some setting that isn't enabled. It wouldn't be the first time. I spent like 45 minutes or something before I could record getting all of my shortcuts and stuff fixed, because I was like, oh, I need to travel and do all this stuff, and then eventually I got here and went, oh, I forgot to do all that other stuff. Great. So then I spent a lot of time doing that. But still, we're pretty much operational. Not exactly as it is at home, but it's pretty close. Now we have more of these destroyers inbound, and this facility will probably be wiped once again. Of course, these T1 factories acting as nice little bullet sponges. I don't know if it's going to be enough. Engineers trying to hastily repair this facility as it's being shot at, but the damage is too much and the facility is now knocked offline for a second time. Bombers are inbound going for Craig's commander. He takes a huge chunk of its hit points. Just if they fall off. He is still in the high yellows though, and it does look like a decent amount of those bombers will get another pass in. Will they actually hit their targets because of the environment? They will do so and still keep him now in the mid-yellow position. He has stealth online, no nano. He's not able to wrap up hit points very, very quickly. In the north, a large group of bricks and a couple of loyalists here pushing back Control K's Harbinger and a couple of Blazes, and of course the comms nearby as well. He has gun and nano on board currently, so Team 1 is pushing back Team 2 quite heavily in that department. In the south, again, it's not really a lot more going on ever since the comms left here. Team 2 has held this position. Team 1 has held this position, and that's pretty much been it. T3 land facility online, though. Very far forward and not in the main base here for Maitz. Good thing. Cuts down on travel time. Bad news is that it's one of those things where it could easily get overwhelmed and he just loses T3 land tech. So it's going to give and a take, that sort of thing. T2 Navy also back online here for Maitz as well. So he's back in the Naval Department, and T2 Navy is almost online for Gaitz and Kraft as well. I feel like by the end of this video, I either will have butchered his name so much where I say it wrong every single time, or at least one or two people will say in the comments, hey, it's pronounced this way, so pronounce it this way. So hopefully that happens. The second thing happens, not the first thing. Hopefully. I don't know. I try to do my best with accents and whatnot, but I am not a orator or linguist or whatever the term for it is. I'm just a caster who likes to cast this game, and players from all over the world play it. Sometimes they have their names in English and sometimes they don't, and this is an example where they don't, and I wouldn't be surprised if Maitz is not in English or in a different language, and I think that's everything else is English. Yeah. So anyway, couple of bricks on the northern side. T2 Navy not being upgraded. Oh no, there it is right there. But again, there are bricks inbound. They have torpedoes on board. Not going well here for Team 2 on this eastern side. Still, I will point out, nobody has died yet. 20 minutes and 36 seconds on the clock here. Team 1 sitting at 421 mass income. Team 2, 530. So a decent chunk ahead, especially in a ladder match. It is pretty big to have a decent gap. I mean, again, not reclaim, but mass isn't the only thing, but it is a huge chunk. It just depends on how you spend it and what you spend it on and how much of it you can accrue and all of the other, tallies you can do and whatnot. I just don't know why it's outputting the same message like 3 or 4 times. Don't know why it's doing that. That column of dilly-dally getting pretty close to Team 2's front door, but now we see that those bricks have now come home to Team 2's. Apologies for that. Control K. The machine I'm on is probably not liking some stuff, and it's starting to slow down a little bit. Hopefully, again, that doesn't impact the viewing pleasure of everybody. Hopefully, when I do a 5v5 or 6v6 on this machine, it's not just every 5 seconds. We do see a couple of bombers over the top here going after mechs. They might be able to rip up the second one. It's going to be close. Oh, it's not close. That thing is pretty much dead. Oh, if it was the Scorchers, I think they would have got it. But anyway, in the main base here for Control K, engineers going down, PD trying to be hastily built, Blazes as well, Harbingers trying to be spammed up as well. The bricks focusing, it looks like all of the mechs, a lot of them T2, some of them T3, and they are all going down. Actually, yeah, there's a T3 mechs down there. Looks like they're trying to get out of range of the rest of the PD. But they have taken off a decent amount of mechs, which means the eco advantage for Team 2 is slowly being eaten away. You can see now it's under 100 mass more, and I think it'd be under probably 75 or so by the time they're done with their little rampage over there. In the south here, again, forces kind of building up here for both of these teams, but neither of them wanting to engage. I feel like in this scenario, whoever engages first might lose, and especially if Excited is the one that engages, he will be the one kind of at the disadvantage because all of that mass is nearer his opponent's front door versus it being the other way around, which is probably what he would prefer if an engagement does occur. And then it is said to be the reverse for both players anyways. We do see in the north, Dilly Dally continuing to push in and being a little bit pushed back by Ascendant Flak. It's not like the Flak can shoot at him. It's not Cybran. A couple of bricks in the north. Not really anything over here, but there are a couple of Harbingers, so it should be fine. And there are a decent amount of PD back here, so nothing really worrisome for this position. We do see in the south down here more of the cruisers coming online. The Governors are making an impact. Radar system going offline. That's never good. But it does look like Excited is moving its force ever so slightly forward. There are a bunch of T1 PD being built. I don't know if that's the better call. Especially with those taller units, it really doesn't matter with the walls. But we'll just have to see if it does help or not. In the east, nothing really going out. Still T3 air, not... Oh, Yeah, that's still T2. T3 air not coming online as of yet. Team 1. T3 land is online, but I don't see an air facility. Maybe that was donated over by somebody. Oh, I guess it's this. Maybe it could have been donated over by Dilly Dally or something, but still no T3 air facility. No one's really going for that, surprisingly enough. 24 minutes. I think they're more focused on the Navy and the land side of things, especially because Navy is taking a big chunk of the map, and it will determine most likely who wins the game. Like I pointed out, 2 bases easily under threat by Navy. Third one a little out of reach, but not by much. Unless you have cruisers, and maybe you might snip a little bit of this right here, but that's not going to be a huge amount versus the entire base. And another naval fight has occurred. Of course, it is Cybran v. Cybran, with a little bit of UEF here in the mix. We do see there are 2 comes in the water. Craig Marine, not Kilgrave or whatever I was trying to say. Control K has shield, gun, and speed and range on board, so decent chunk of hit points, plus of course the range ability as well. Those torpedoes, I don't think they're in range, but there's just a lot more forces now. Those frigates are moving in. There's not that many destroyers online for Team 1. There are nice little bulwark that has lost its shield, and those frigates I think just blitz on through to try to do whatever they can. Looks like a couple of destroyers as well, try to just distract as much as possible, but the frigates can sense blood in the water and they are engaging. But of course, as these forces retreat, they can fire for the most part directly behind them. The Salems can't fire 180 degrees behind them, but I forget what the arc is, but I think it's a 90-degree cone, I think is what they can't hit. So 270 degrees, which is again better than a lot percentage that you probably could not hit, but still 360 degrees definitely nice to have in any instance, of course. It looks like the tide is turning here in the Navy for Team 1. Team 1 is winning this engagement and now pushing back against Craig Marine's forces. He's really only had himself in the Navy. Team 1 has had 2 players in Navy, which is really coming to show its strength here. If there was only the Cybran forces for both teams, it would be, I wouldn't say even, but pretty close. But with all of these other forces running around here for the UEF side of things, it's really just punching Team 2 back. And with that eco advantage now essentially gone for Team 2, it's really going to come down to, can they make use of what they have on hand? There are a couple of gunships inbound, but there is a T3AA Myrmidon nearby, and that has really ripped apart all of those gunships, unfortunately for them. And now it's just becoming a bombardment game here. And in the north, we have Control K versus Dilly Dally. Control K has shield, of course. Dilly Dally does not. He does have nano, though, so 102 hit points a second versus 20 plus the 30 of the shield. But the shield has not been depleted as of yet, so he's still sitting at a decent 14,000 hit points. And now a couple of blazes moving in. Of course, there are a couple of shots inbound from these frigates off the coastline as well. Dilly Dally looks like he got a rank and veterancy there, so back up into the green, and he's going to live to fight another day, force his opponent near the water, back on the beachfront property, and possibly soon back in said water. Nobody has gone for any sort of game ender. I mean, it is kind of really early and ladder to go for game enders, but there's a Colossus started here for Team 2's Control K. There's another one almost done here for Excited. I don't see anything coming online here for Team 1 as of yet. No more air facility. T3 air is now online for Team 1. And T2 air, actually T3 air, online for Dilly Dally as well. So 2 players have gone for T3 air at 27 minutes. So that is a huge advantage for Team 1, obviously due to the fact that Team 2 still hasn't even gone for T3. But they are going for a Colossus. So advantage, disadvantage, again, it just depends on how much damage they can do before the opponent tries to counter them with something that they're superior at. Lots of bricks escorting that commander, Dilly Dally. And these commanders in Team 1 and Team 2, at least the northern ones, not shying away from a fight, willing to continue to engage, especially after the 20-plus minute mark where snipes usually occur, especially in 4 to 6 to 8 game matches kind of thing. 3v3s, I think it's more unit-based in the sense of it's more about the units versus just trying to go for kills. I mean, it's important to go for kills, but I think it's a little bit more the we did just get influence on the map, that sort of thing. Major land fight, of course, occurs. The Blazes trying to push back the Bricks. The Bricks will win that fight quite handedly. They are being chewed up quite nicely. There are some Harbingers also coming in with a bunch of shields that are not protecting them in any way. And some Serenities moving in as well, some artillery. But there are some T3 artillery in there as well, and some tickle cannons coming online. So it is going to be a nice fortified position, but that Colossus is now online. The second one also online for the 2 Aeon players in Team 2. So those are 2 experimentals that Team 1 either does know about and is trying to prepare for, or doesn't know about and is going to be very surprised by it. T1 bombers rip apart most of those forces here in this upper hillside plateau nonsense. And engineers being targeted. They're just trying to feed their families. It's a little excessive with those bombers. We do have a couple of T3 AA facilities slowly being spammed up here just to curtail any sort of snipes or any sort of like early, not early, but just a couple of bombers or whatever. Just to help, not really a lot, just enough. We have some bombers still going after engineers. Again, Dilly Dally still being very brazen with that commander. He may go for cloaking, but the unfortunate thing would be, especially in a map like this, where Dilly Dally is really close to Team 2's, at least one of their main bases. If there's a Omni in this position, that will most likely see that commander and render that upgrade null and void. That Colossus down here to the south, has it reached the position yet? No, it's about halfway there, a little almost halfway there. And the one here for Excited is now, where is it? Well, there's one being built there. Oh, it's right there, just staring at me in the face. Still, the naval fight looking very bad here for Team 2. It's just pummel city down here from the UEF and Cyber forces of Team 1. Mainly the Cyber ones, but the UEF are helping a decent amount. Of course, the bubble shields coming in to assist. I don't see that many governors online, but I don't know. I feel like with the amount of forces moving constantly, governors aren't that important. But Control K now moving backward, but unfortunately Dilly Dally doesn't notice the Colossus. The Colossus now not targeting the commander, going after all the other units. You do see now he's targeting Dilly Dally. That will be a kill here for Team 2. The first kill of the game, I will admit, at 30 minutes. So everybody made it past 30 minutes, even in a ladder match. That is not necessarily unheard of, but it is unlikely to happen. It was nice to see that happen once in a while. Now it is a 3v2 in favor of Team 2, but of course Team 1's now dead player will have everything transferred over to somebody else, and it's being transferred over to Maitz, who's going to now have dual bases online, which will scale his eco quite nicely. And considering the fact that now Team 1 is winning the Navy game, and Navy game, and the eco game, and the air game, Team 2 has the land game that they can try to work on, but it's not going super well for them, except for that one kill in the north. In the south, the Colossus has now started to breach the front doors with the assistance of all of these bubble shields. There's a lot of these units now running around as trying to assist that commander. The tickle cannons, some of them able to shoot the the Colossus, some of them able to not. So some damage is being mitigated, but it's not that much anymore. So this is a weak point for Team 1. So as, again, Team 1 wins the Navy, wins the air, Team 2 is winning land, which could bite them in the butt, because now it's starting to kind of come this little, I don't know, alligator mouth kind of closing in on the north and the south. It just depends on how long these Colossi are allowed to live. If they get pretty close to Team 1's bases, it could be all over, but there is a crab online, so that's going to stop that one. I don't know about down here, though. There is a crab started from Maitz. It's going to be a little bit before it's done, and I think it's going to be too late, unless he just has a, 50,000 mass or something in his bar that he just blitzed down very quickly. Colossus in the water trying to help defend the base. T3 land facility still online. Shields being spammed up as quickly as possible. Of course, I don't really like the Aeon shields particularly, but again, in this scenario, for anybody, anything's better than nothing. We do see Craig online still with his torpedo upgrade online. And we do see he's trying to help the best he can, but he is staying a little bit out of active range just so he doesn't get blitzed down by all of the torpedoes on board the Salems. I don't blame him. And now we see Control K up here to the north. His shield is back online 100%. Unfortunately now he's going to start being bombarded by torps from those destroyers, which will slowly eat him alive. You can see all of them fire, and there's a lot of them firing. It could just be dead here, because even if he gets out of the water, it just depends on how fast those units are able to clock in on that commander. Control K now going to drop all of the shields, and it's not going to last much longer. He needs to get out of there. Colossus coming in to try to save him. It's repped up, or quite nicely, up to 1 star veterans to kill off a lot of those destroyers, I will add. And that comm might just make it out of safety just barely. Now reclaiming, at least that's what it looked like. He's reclaiming. He's got to keep moving. I think he misclicked there. This could be a death here for Team 2, the first player on their team to lose a life, or lose their soul, or lose their whatever, lose their comm. That is another dead destroyer, and I think Control K is out of the woods, very, very close there. And that Colossus comes in clutch. This Colossus is going to die to that crab pretty much without contest. Definitely unfortunate, all those bombers and all of those long-range firepower. Not very good. We do see the Colossus now in a very good scenario to go after a lot of these facilities here for Team 1. We do see a couple of gunships also inbound to assist as well. And those are some dead boats and dead facilities. But it does look like the Colossus is going to ignore them and go northwest. There are some gunships trying to assist, do what they can. But I don't think it's going to be very beneficial. Maybe they'll kill off the Colossus enough before it destroys vital infrastructure, but P-gens are definitely a worrisome facility, especially because it's over there, very explosive. The crab is going to be denied. I feel like in this case you could just go after the engineers and go after something else. The engineers, it's pretty close to being done, but that's a dead crab one way or the other. There's a decent amount of flak still here, but it's slowly being dealt with. The main focus, of course, is on the Colossus, not the flak, but it doesn't really matter in this case, because even if the Colossus kills off the crab, which it just did, it's going to die here, and that's going to be a nice little mass dump for Team 1. So one way or the other, it's a benefit. I think the crab acted more of a distraction than anything else, which I think is the hope, or the nice thing for Team 1, is that they didn't really have to worry about, you know, a bunch of P-gens blowing up kind of thing, which I feel like would have been a better target to go after. Yeah, the crab probably would have finished, but you would have killed a lot of power, cutting off, you know, the Navy, cutting off a decent amount of the air as well. I think it would have been better in that regard, especially because Team 1 is winning air, but there are just a bunch of skimmers running around. Team 2 still hasn't gone for... Oh, okay, excuse me. They are now going for T3 air, but at 34 minutes, is it too late? And they are building a donut. They don't have air control, and they're going for donut. Don't really like that. We are now seeing a bunch of torpedo-capable units in the boat and in the land unit department, and a crab, because why not have all of the torpedo-capable units in one place on the map, hanging out. And it is not going to go well here for Team 2. If they can't stop the crab, that is the biggest thing that they need to deal with. Team 1, their biggest thing they have to deal with so far, of course, is most likely this southern approach. The northern approach is pretty much cut down. They don't really have to worry about it. And they're winning Navy, if not have entirely crushed Navy at this point. They've been doing it very well and have now pretty much hit the last nail in the coffin, I believe. Nobody on Team 2 has died yet, which is a plus, because APM does start to tank very quickly as the game, of course, gets into the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, the hour and a half marks, which is, this match is not getting into an hour, but as an example. Colossus now trying to catch up to the crab. Crab going after more of the mexes, more of the air staging facilities. Is that an important structure? No. Is it fun to shoot at? Yes. Now look at all these... but look at all these assisting bricks that could come in and start to rip up that Colossus. Is there another one being built over here? No, but the donut is almost done. A donut is done. Team 2 now has T3 air. Did they go out of order? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe Control K just wanted to reenact Independence Day or something. I don't know. But that's just something that will have to be thought about throughout the ages. There are a couple of miasma T2 artillery in range of these, so it'll slowly eat away at the HP as well. And that crab is now slowly retreating into the water. He sees the threat. There are some depth charges on board these Zars. They're not great. It's one of those it's nice to have kind of things, but it's not a most important thing, you must use it all the time kind of thing. And they can see, yeah, that isn't really worth it at this stage. Colossus is being bombarded by that artillery from the Navy side of things. And at this point, there are 2 comms right next door. One nice nuke will kill both of them off, winning the game. Does Team 2 know that? No. So, the more you know kind of thing. SMD is built, speaking of nukes. I don't see anything big ticket item-y so far here for Team 2 besides the Colossus. The donut is a little big ticket item, but you can see the shield is slowly being eaten away. It's not as fast as it would be if there's a lot of cruisers underneath. But of course there's a couple cruisers, but not that many, and they are being targeted, so not really a fun time here for Team 1's Navy. But again, lots of reclaim on the map, currently sitting at, I need to pull out the little rinky-dinky little thing, 154,000 mass on the field. Not enough to build any game enders, but it's a lot of mass. 37 minutes on the clock here. Nobody else has died. Again, it is still a 3v2 in favor of Team 2. The game is still progressing, and it's not favoring one way or the other. Navy is most definitely in the lead, if not won by Team 1. Land is kind of 50-50. Air is favoring Team 1, but Team 2 is trying to correct it with more air facilities, but I feel like they might be too late to the party on that regard. We have a lot of T2 gunships, though, and they're being eaten alive by, well, just all these ASF from Team 1. not really going well. There is some flak to try to eat the ASFs up, but it's not as useful, honestly. You really need that T3 to really punch through all of the HP. But again, it's nice to have a nice aerial denial unit. It's nice to have a mix of both, especially if you're going after T3 gunships. Nice to have both. Still, the fleet essentially blockading Team 2. Team 2 not really able to do much. Trying to reclaim, building some harms, which could be very interesting, which means Craig Marine has T3 engineering suite on board. Will he finish it? Yes. Unfortunately, I don't know if it's going to last that long, because he might finish it, but it might just get blown up by the time it's... No, there it goes. It did not really... It got finished, but it didn't get finished. Second donut is online. Again, not really a lot of air, so maybe that could be a control case strategy, is just full send it with a couple of donuts and kill off most of a base or two, and or maybe 2 or 3 bases, and maybe that would be it. 2 crabs over here, but no AA. Not good. Not good for those crabs. That is a not good combo for Team 1. A lot of expensive units plus a unit they can't target equals free damage. That's free real estate for Team 2. Colossus now moving in probably to go after the boats that are hanging out in the bay. And the donut is now fleeing. The shield is not doing super well, but the ASFs might... Yep, they do call it off. Second donut is online. Of course, the missiles on board these have a chunky range. I think it's the blue, I believe, is the range on board for those missiles. So it's pretty expansive, and having multiple of them coming online can be deadly. And I do love the fact that you can just build air units on, like, in the environment, because that makes sense. Don't know why they can do that, but I guess the middle of the unit can be built so you can put it there, kind of thing. ASF count not really high for Team 1, and of course Team 2 is not really that much anyways. Crab down here going after whatever it can. It's kind of vulnerable that far forward. There is the comm of Excited, who is retreating, who has sensor package and T2 on board. So not really an offensive, more a utility commander. But now we see, look at this huge push down here. All this orange continuing to just crush the southern side. Team 1's ASF still having to hold position. It does allow for Excited to use that donut a little bit more aggressively. I do love the fact that there are 2 facilities in the middle of the pond and more facilities back here and more facilities. Because why the heck not? T2, Navy, not being expanded to T3. Not being expanded to T3. I think it's not really that important to go for T3, especially at this point. ASFs are making a play, possibly lots of bombers, lots of T1 bombers, I might add. They can't target the donut, but they can target something on the ground. There are a couple of ASFs here for Geizenkraft as well. But you can see, look at those missiles, all those yellow dots just ripping apart all of those bombers. They're not going anywhere. They're not going home. They're not seeing the families. They're not making the target. They're just getting wiped out of the sky. And there goes this position of Mexis here for Team 1's Maitz. He's losing eco. Team 1's mass overall. Oh, that is mass killed, excuse me. 1.44 million for Team 1, 1.5 million. So not a huge advantage, some, but not huge. And it is 1.3 versus 1. But even with the mass advantage, look at the difference in map control. Team 1 has the Navy. Team 2 trying to hold on as much as they can. Team 2 doing a very good job of southern land. Team 1 trying to force them back. We do have a couple of gunships still going after those megaliths. Megalith is not dead yet, but it's very close. Pretty much not usable at this point. And it looks like this entire force is going to just shift northward and go all the way after these two facilities. And there is a nuke. There is a nuke online. Does Team 2 know about it? No. That could be the straw that breaks the camel's back for Team 2's defensive Navy positions. And I don't see an SMD. Of course, the donuts aren't helping to look. No, there isn't an SMD in that mix, so that could be the play that Team 1 needs to win this game. There isn't an SMD down here. There isn't anywhere else. There is one crab over here. There's a dead crab there. There's a dead colossus there. There's more dead units. And look, a couple of harms were built. But I don't think Team 2 is going to make much more progress in Navy. They really need to punch back on land, which they are doing on the south. But they're not moving in on it. Experimental not done from Maitz once again. Looks like monkey business down there. That one nuke, like I said, could be the thing that wins Team 1 the game. 42 minutes on the clock here. And it is not looking good in either direction in different fields of war for both teams. Third donut is online. I don't know if that counts as air control with donuts at this stage in the game, considering all the ASF. That's a decent chunk of ASFs, but that's a decent chunk of donuts. And the attack is ordered, and the laser, of course, will be activated. A lot of those ASFs are being blitzed down by the missiles and the AA, and, of course, just the laser on the donut. Nuke is outbound. Actually, what is that nuke outbound for? I saw the icon down there. Where? Oh, there's a sneaky little nuke down there for Team 2's Craig Marine. Is there an SMD? Yes. Is it loaded? No. That's a dead air grid and a couple dead monkeys. They could have gone after the nuke. Will Team 1 counter nuke the nuke? Which I don't think they'll be able to. It's almost loaded. It's going to be close, but it's better to go for control case base at this point. And here comes the nuke. Kaboom! Kills off a ton of that air grid, and a couple PGens do survive, but that will definitely open the door for Team 1, but I'm sorry, for Team 2 to move in. There is a crab and a monkey. I don't know if Team 1 has noticed the move yet. They're going west. There are a couple of gunships and ASFs to guard them, but not that much is remaining over there. The donuts ripped apart a crab and then just peace out. There's another donut. That is number 4 on the donuts. Another nuke is outbound, of course, now from Team 1. Did he go for the counter nuke? He went for the base. Oh no, this base wasn't shielded by SMDs. Oh no, that's such missed opportunity. And it's going to get shot down. Ooh, that is not great for Team 1. That would have been not a hero nuke, but it would have done a lot of damage. Definitely unfortunate. There it goes. Gets shot down. 43 minutes, almost 44 minutes on the clock. Excited builds another experiment, almost likely another Colossus. Where are those donuts going? They're going north. They're on a mission. They're deploying a bunch of units. Couple of ASFs, couple of air scouts, just to assist with the AA coverage and the like. And I like how they just fan out of like 6 different ports, so they just really spread out very quickly. I kind of like that, and the way they handled that for especially the Atlantis as well. Just it surfaces and goes, just shoves a bunch of units out of its hangars essentially. Lots of AA being spammed up as quickly as possible. The donuts trying to curve around them, but those 3 donuts, like I said, air control with donuts is now the game here. Those donuts essentially proven their worth, and they're just going to ignore all of that AA down there and just go for the base. I think all of them still have somewhat of their shield intact. There goes PGens. It is not a good day to be a PGen here for Team 1. It's just deadly. There goes oh, that's not great. for Maitz. And of course, if you don't have enough power, you don't have enough mass kind of thing. ASF's coming home to roost. They might get one of the donuts. And even if they do, the crash damage is going to hurt significantly. Look how the build queue gets immediately just stopped. There goes another set of P-Gens. SMD going offline. The nuke goes offline. Oh, just everything is gone for Team 1. Essentially, Team 1 needs a kill or two to come back in this game at this point. Another donut online. And now we see the Salems are walking. The Salems are on the land. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. 45 minutes, and we finally see it. Team 1 had Navy for a very long time, and they finally deploy the method. So the base over here is being destroyed. The base over here is starting to be just bombarded. But it's not the main base. It's just the essentially long line of the nonsense down there. But there are a couple of crabs going into Greg's base. Glory to the princess. It says control K with a nice little taunt there. And unfortunately, that's one crab down. More gunships, of course, called in to assist. And again, even if Craig's base goes down, Might's base is gone. This base is not doing well. This position is slowly crumbling. It's just a matter of time. I asked for air, says Dilly Dally. Gunships coming in and starting to just rip everything apart. Those Salems did very, very well to keep Navy, but once they popped on land and grew their land legs, that did not go very well. I do think the nuke not going for this base was a huge missed opportunity. Another crab is down. Another one remains. Mait's control Ks, and I think the other team player on Team 1 is going to follow. Geitzencraft going to follow a Colossus. Another nuke is outbound. I don't know where this one is going. It could probably go for this chunk of... oh, actually going to go up here for all the AA. I mean, that's not a bad idea. I don't think it's needed at this point. And there goes the last player on Team 1. Looks like he control K'd. And that ends the game here, folks. 46 minutes and 36 seconds on the clock here. And I got to give it to the guy producing all the donuts on the other side of the map, on the eastern side of the map. That being Team 2's control K gets MVP. They ripped through all of the... well, not all of, but a hefty chunk of the infrastructure for Team 1. And pretty much was what caused the desperation of Team 1 to engage as much as they could. And yeah, they took out a decent chunk of this base here for Craig Marine. Couldn't break in much for Control K. Tried to nuke this base. That didn't work. But again, I will state that Excited put a lot of pressure on the southern side, keeping a lot of the attention of at least this central area right here instead of pushing out eastward. So pretty much that is the game here, folks. Let me know down in the comments what you felt about the match overall. Thank you so much for watching to the very end of the video. And again, as I said in the beginning, I will apologize for the not as good quality in terms of there's a little bit of stuttering there. I did notice with the recording, the game kind of stuttered for a couple seconds here and there, but I do appreciate the patience with me. Thank you so very much for watching to the very end of the video, and I will see all of you in the next one.